Now at 5 a.m., it's WKYT This Morning. Rescue crews are searching for a man who went missing in a southern Kentucky river. We'll have more on how the man disappeared and what's going on with that search ahead this morning.
City officials are seeking the public's input about the new plans for Lexington's old courthouse. Details on the meeting coming up.
And Lexington community members say they are fed up with the violence in their neighborhood. We're going to hear from a man who fears for his family's safety. Ahead on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good Wednesday morning to you. It is June 1st.
Here we are.
Here we are. I'm Michelle Chamberlain.
I'm Bill Bryant, and it's so good to have you with us on WKYT This Morning. We're going to see this be sort of the transition day from those nice, warm, summer-like days we've had. We'll start to see some changes. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, and we're going to see that, especially as we drive off towards your weekend. Your weekend looks much cooler and a much better feel, but we still have a chance at a few rumbles of thunder. None of these days are a washout. There's some good news that I kind of throw in for you. 65 degrees right now in Lexington. We're in the 60s elsewhere as well. Now as we're walking out the door, it feels good. But by the afternoon, once again, it's still pretty warm. 87 degrees, a couple of rumbles of thunder in your forecast now. It's going to be louder. It'll be much cooler in the days ahead. So that means storms, which will drop those temperatures. And I'm going to talk all about that. I'll show you when I expect the best chance of rain in the forecast coming up.
Micah, thank you. In the news this morning, rescue crews are searching for a southern Kentucky man who disappeared when his canoe capsized in a river.
Investigators say the 70-year-old man was in the boat with his son last night when it flipped in the Rockcastle River. WKYT's Mark Barber has more on the search. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Michelle. When that boat flipped, the man's son made it to safety, but his 70-year-old father is still missing. He disappeared in the river 11 hours ago. Search crews started looking for the elderly man around 6 last night. His son walked for hours to get help after their boat capsized in the Rockcastle River. They went under after their canoe hit a tree and flipped. The men were trying to gather their equipment back up when the 70-year-old vanished. Search teams looked for him until the sun went down, and then they set up camp by the river for the night. They'll start looking for the 70-year-old again later this morning.
They're upriver in a Zodiac and trying to access where the canoe flipped over at. My understanding is there's some rough water and they're trying to get another access to get closer.
The missing man is from southern Kentucky. Emergency management officials say he was on the river with his son for an overnight camping trip. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. People living in a Lexington neighborhood are demanding some changes. They say there's just too much crime in the Cardinal Valley area, and they want the community to do something about it. On Monday, a man died after police say someone shot him in a parking lot near Village and Cambridge Drives. People in the Cardinal Valley community say they are not surprised by that shooting. They say safety is a common concern in the neighborhood.
We're in a world of turmoil, and if we don't start within, we shouldn't be worried about what's happening out in the world, because you don't have this together. It's a war itself. Waking up every day fending for your family.
Urban County Councilwoman Peggy Henson says the community's concerns are not being ignored. She says to start, she wants to work with apartment complexes in the neighborhood and have them put more scrutiny on the application process.
A busy Pulaski County intersection was closed for hours after a 4-vehicle crash. It happened late yesterday afternoon at the intersection of Highways 914 and 1247 near Somerset. Police say a box truck rear-ended a tractor trailer, which sparked a chain reaction crash that also involved a garbage truck and minivan. They say one person was airlifted to the hospital and 2 others were taken there by ground ambulance. We do not know their conditions, but police say it could have been a lot worse. The intersection reopened around 7 o'clock.
It could have been a lot worse. They was very, very lucky. Probably one thing that helped was the box truck. The trailer that they hit was empty, and it just let it compact up instead of just staying still. If it had have been, it could have been a lot worse, probably had a fatality or 2.
New this morning, a Nicholasville business is raising money for the family of a man who died in a crash. 30-year-old Jeremy Hampton died last Thursday when police say his car crossed into oncoming traffic on US 27, hitting an SUV. In a Facebook post today, Gearhead's Automotive Repair on Howard Street says $10 from every oil change at the business through the end of June will be donated to Hampton's family. Friends say Hampton left behind a wife and 2 children.
New this morning, police are investigating after an unusual SUV theft in Lexington ended in a crash. They say the owner of the stolen SUV spotted it while at a gas station and chased after it in another car. Eventually, the driver of the stolen SUV lost control, turning onto Hollow Creek Road, hitting a car that was parked in a driveway. The driver of the stolen SUV then ran away. Police say there were no injuries, but both the SUV and the car in the driveway were damaged. An Indiana man who broke into a Versailles family's home and stabbed a 6-year-old boy will appear in court today. Ronald Exantis is charged with the murder of Logan Tipton, who was a kindergarten at Simmons Elementary. Exantis has pleaded not guilty to murder, as well as burglary and assault. Today's hearing will be to determine whether he is psychologically competent to stand trial. Lexington city officials are seeking input on their plans for the old courthouse.
Yeah, there will be a public meeting today regarding the renovation of the Main Street courthouse. WKYT's Hillary Thornton has the details on this meeting. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle and Bill. That meeting set to take place here in a few hours at the Fifth Third Bank Pavilion in downtown Lexington. The pavilion sitting next to the old courthouse. It is a building that has been sitting empty for about 4 years now. The former Fayette County Courthouse, built in 1898, is now looking at a $30 million renovation. The meeting scheduled here today will give folks an opportunity to see renderings of the proposed renovation, as well as review and comment on an environmental remediation plan for the building. Lexington did receive both federal and state money to address some environmental concerns, including lead, mold, and asbestos. Some possible tenants for the renovated space in the heart of downtown include a Chef Weta Michael restaurant, Visit Lex, Breeders' Cup offices, as well as the city's Convention and Visitors Bureau. Now, plans for the top floor include space for weddings and other events. Last week, city leaders first unveiled the plans, explaining that $8 million of the renovation is coming from state and federal historic preservation tax credits, while $22 million has been approved in the city's current year budget. Lexington Mayor Jim Gray then went on to say that the city will not be needed for further investments, as it will be a revenue-generating and self-sustaining project. That public meeting is scheduled to start around noon today, and city leaders plan to be here for about an hour to take any questions. Live in Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Thank you, Hillary. Governor Bevin and Attorney General Andy Beshear are attacking each other over Kentucky's decision to join a lawsuit over a federal directive concerning bathrooms. Last week, 11 states sued the federal government over the directive, which says schools should allow transgender students to use the bathroom they identify with. In most of those states, attorney generals made the decision to join the lawsuit. Kentucky was not part of the lawsuit initially, but Governor Bevin announced 2 days later the state would join it. He said Attorney General Beshear refused to join, but Beshear claims the governor never talked to him about it.
Ours was a state where our Attorney General is busy with a lot of lawsuits, but they seem to be focused on a different front. He's got his reasons for that. It's a little sad. It's kind of a waste of what the purpose of the job is.
At no point did the governor ever consult with us, email us, or ask us for a meeting. And so claiming that I refused to do something he never asked me to do and was reviewing is entirely and totally false.
Beshear also says his office was in the process of reviewing the lawsuit when the governor made the decision to have the state join it.
The time this morning coming up on 5:09. Great to have you with us on WKYT this morning. You know, we're just getting started here on your Wednesday, off and rolling with all the latest.
It was a Memorial Day to remember for a 92-year-old World War II veteran. We'll have the reason why next on WKYT this morning.
That will bring a smile to your face, which won't bring a smile to your face, some of these thunderstorms, but you know what? We got some cooler air on the way, so it's kind of give and take forecast. I'm going to explain that coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Well, we are now officially into June. The first full day of June is today, and here we go. Let's recap what we went through for May real quick. The average temperature is 63 degrees. How does that fall in line with typically? Well, the normal is right around 64, so we're not really that far off from that average temperature of 63. Now, the rainfall, however, is above that, 1.5 inches roughly above where we will stand there typically for rainfall in June. So 6.49 inches is what we got. Remember, these are out at airports. These are not in your backyards, okay? Because I have no doubt about it. I picked up more than that in my backyard. There were actually 3 or 4 instances that I remember 2 to 3 inches of rain. So just note that, yes, these are out at airports. And if you're saying, well, I got 9 inches of rain in my yard, well, you probably did. You get some of these heavy downpours, some of these spotty thunderstorms, and that can happen. 65 degrees there in Lexington. We're 63 now in London as we walk outside. And walking outside in 60s with no rain actually is a pretty nice start to the day. It's going to be much like what you felt yesterday, what you saw yesterday. Now we get into your afternoon. A couple of rumbles of thunder. Once we hit evening and night, that's when we start to see a few storms move on. And I believe the evening and night, anywhere from 8 p.m. to about midnight, is the best opportunity to actually hear some of those rumbles roll on through. So it could be a loud night for a few of us, not all of us. And none of these days are washouts, okay? Not today, not going through your weekend. These are just times that you got to watch out for some hit and miss thunderstorms. The heat does remain, though, the next 48 hours. After 48 hours, that's going to change big time because an active pattern comes sliding in here. And that active pattern is a front moving on through. Now, it's not a very impressive front, but you are going to get some rain out of this, especially there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's probably your best bet to actually see some of these storms. And even those days are not widespread storms. So just keep in mind, if you have any events going on, we got the big yard sale going on, the 25 yard sale going on. That starts tomorrow, heads off towards your weekend. Just know some of these thunderstorms you might have to dodge. But those thunderstorms, what they'll do is that front will move on in, bring us some rain. That rain will lead to cooler temperatures during that time. And once that front passes on through, then you really see that cool air sweep on in here. Now, it's not extremely cool. It's actually back toward average for this time of year, which we haven't felt in quite some time, in the mid-70s. But you guys, you can see for the most part, you're going to have every single day with at least a 30% chance of rain. But some of these days a little bit higher than that. I always tell you, look at those percentages. The percentages tell you if you're going to have widespread rain or not, and none of these days spell widespread rain. So just keep in mind, you might have to dodge some of these storms, adjust around them as you go throughout your events.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Which makes it a little difficult to plan.
A little difficult,
yeah,
but I would say plan with your events, go with them. Just know, adjust some of that time.
All right. Thank you, Mike. It's 5:15 right now.
A 92-year-old World War II veteran got to throw the ceremonial first pitch at a Memorial Day Mariners game.
And the 92-year-old veteran ran out to the field showing energy that many of us only hope to have at that age. And take a look at this. It's Burke Waldron throwing the zinger of a pitch starting off Monday's Padres-Mariners game. The World War II veteran began his service to our country in 1943 at Pearl Harbor.
What a fine guy. I want to see it again. Do they show it again?
I don't know.
I missed it.
You see.
Look at that energy.
Yeah, remember there on the social media, and let's see if
here he
we're
goes.
going to get to see it again. All right, here goes Burke. Look at that.
Oh, great throw.
That's perfect.
We need his energy this morning, right?
You got it. Good to have you with us Wednesday morning on WKYT as we're off and rolling with the latest news.
When we come back, we'll have a look at your money.
A sell-off on Wall Street and the top cities for staycations. I'm Marley Hall, and I'll have those stories and more coming up in your CBS Money Watch report.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning. 5:19 is our time. We're glad you're up and at it with us on the first day of June. Well, a sell-off on Wall Street, travel troubles, and the top cities for staycations.
Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah, it's a good place. You can go out and see the history of the horses, right?
Urban tours. There is a lot to do. Marley Hall has the latest on your money.
Wall Street welcomes a new month this morning. Investors are looking ahead to this week's unemployment report for the latest snapshot of the economy. The stock market ended May with a whimper. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 86 points on Tuesday. The Nasdaq rallied to close up 14. The sell-off came after economists at the Conference Board said consumer confidence fell in May for the second month in a row. The survey says Americans are feeling cautious about the job market and business conditions. That brought the confidence level to the lowest point since November. The travel industry could take a hit from the latest terror alert. Just as Americans are planning their summer vacations, the State Department is warning of possible terrorist threats in Europe. The alert points to tourist sites, restaurants, and transportation as potential targets, as well as major events like the Tour de France. 2/3 of Americans are planning to take their vacations closer to home. Wallet Hub compared 150 cities to find the most fun and affordable staycation spots. Based on recreation, entertainment, and relaxation, Florida took the top 3 spots. Orlando had the highest score, followed by Fort Lauderdale and Tampa. That's your Money Watch. For more, log on to CBSMoneyWatch.com. In New York, I'm Marley Hall.
In other words, if you're in Florida, you're good to go.
Right. There's so much to do there.
Or good to stay. Yeah. Hey, it's good to have you along with us on WKYT this morning at 5:21 with a lot more news coming right up.
Sports is next.
Rick Pitino having a news conference yesterday discussing the UK U of L matchup later this year, but also that scandal which has really put a cloud over the program over the last several months. And also region baseball semifinal action from last night. I'll show you who's in the championship games tonight, next in sports.
Looking pretty good this morning. We have a couple of sprinkles making their way off into Highway 90, 92 corridor as we get off into portions of Monticello. But for the most part, I mean, really nothing going on. So we're pretty calm, pretty quiet as you head out on the roadways. No wet roadways this morning. Temperatures are there in the 60s, a couple of 50s sprinkled in here and there. Somerset coming in at 59 degrees. Pretty decent feel outside. So it's mainly dry there by 8 a.m. We travel into your day and a warm midday. 81 degrees is pretty much where we were yesterday. And then we hit the afternoon at 87 with just a couple of rumbles of thunder here and there. I'd say the best bet is actually during the evening and nighttime hours. Let's check out sports, see what's going on.
Rick Pitino holding a news conference yesterday confirming the UK U of L game will be played before Christmas. It will be Wednesday night, December 21st at the Yum Center. Pitino also touched on several other topics, including the scandal which has gripped his program since last October. U of L imposed penalties on itself, sitting out of the ACC and NCAA tournaments and taking away scholarships. Pitino said he does not personally think further penalties will be imposed by the NCAA, but the word has yet to come down.
We want to get everything behind us. It was a very difficult year emotionally. It was a very difficult year and disappointment for all of us, and we'd like to put every single thing about this year behind us. And we'd like the past to be, sometimes you cherish the past, and then other times you like to forget the past, and we'd like to forget this past.
Region baseball semifinal action last night in the 11th. Lexington Catholic and Scott County meeting for the first time this year. Scott County's Trey Bender singles through the right side to score the first run of the game. Bryce Fryman hustles home. It's 1-0 Redbirds in the third. Someone's clapping there. Catholic has the equalizer in the bottom half. Chris Thompson hits one towards first. Diving play, can't come up with it. That allows a run to come home. We're tied at 1-1. It would stay tied until the 6th inning. Ryan Hannebach busts out the big stick. A fly ball to left that will reach the trees. A 2-run homer. That was not coming back. That gives Scott County the lead, and they would hold on to it. Scott County in the championship game, 6-3, thanks to that timely 2-out home run. Western Hills diving head first, literally, into the region semifinals, taking on Henry Clay in the nightcap. Blue Devils get on the board first in the first. Cam Dacey, this young man can hit the baseball. Doubles to deep left center field, almost out of the park. Good for a double. Big Boo Thompson, look at the big fella come around. 1-0 Henry Clay. The Wolverines answer in the second. Tyler Anglin back up the middle. Henry Clay trying to turn the double play. Ball gets away. That allows a run to score. We're tied at 1-1. Western Hills takes the lead in the third. Landon Arflack singles through the right side. We will have a play at the plate. Thomas Bennett. Nice slide around the tag. And the Big Green Machine wins impressively 9-1. They'll face Scott County in the title game tonight. That's a look at sports. Have a great day.